Power Rangers, Super Megaforce, Episode 1, Super Megaforce, Creative. So here it is, finally, the most infamous season. We start with a previously on, summing up the events of the last episode. It's fine. We see the new villains, including Vrock's brother, Vakar. There's a green girl, Elvira, a robot guy, Argus. They deploy the new minions, X-Borgs. Emma rescues Ernie from some invading the mall. Noah helps out some kids at the school. Jake and Gia head to the command cave. Noah and Emma arrive later. Troy comes in. He says he was looking for Robo Knight, but he couldn't find him. Gosei gives the Rangers new morphers along with keys. He explains further that the statues lining the walls are keys that will allow them to unlock powers from the past Rangers. Jake notices his key isn't black, and Gosei begins to explain but is interrupted by attacking villains. I remember fans back in the day being split on this. Personally, I thought this was a funny way around explaining this inevitability, but others found it too silly. Some fans wanted an actual reason, but we never got it. Maybe the explanation is as simple as it was for Adam back in Zeo. The Rangers rush out and battle the bad guys with their new Super Mega modes. After a while, Troy leads the team in using Legendary Ranger mode, and they morph into Samurai. They morph into Mystic Force next, but get blasted out of it by the monster. Troy awkwardly exposits that Legendary mode is hard to maintain.
Good thing Super Mega mode still rocks!
Here we see the element that makes Super Megaforce really clunky, keeping the first season's powers. The new suits aren't their new powers, they're just new power-ups that come with their own power-ups. The first season's powers, I think, should have been lost altogether and replaced with the new ones, with Legendary mode replacing the old Ultra mode. Of course, that would mean we couldn't keep using Goseiger footage, even though this new season is using Gokaiger footage now. It seems like Gokaiger has more than enough potential footage to utilize, so this is a very odd choice. The Rangers defeat the monster, much to the enragement of the villains. We meet another new bad guy, Damaris, a gold-armored guy with a red cape. They send out another monster. There's more X-Borgs, along with blue guys that showed up in Troy's visions from last season. The Rangers use Legendary mode to morph into SPD, Ninja Storm, and then a bunch of Red Rangers. With their new powers, they defeat the next monster. Up on the bad guy's spaceship, Elvira fires a Maximizer to make the monster grow. She says with it, they no longer need Zombats. I'm disappointed. The Zombats were a cool thing, and now we just have a laser. Boring. Why couldn't we have kept the Zombats? Is it really that hard to shoot a few new scenes? We have the monster suits, there's probably props of the Zombats, or CGI models, just make a new scene with them. If we do absolutely have to switch to the laser, I'd prefer it to be something Elvira mentions working on for a few episodes before switching to it exclusively. Gosei calls the Rangers and tells them they have a new skyship. They take the ship into battle and pilot each of their new Zords. They form the Megazord and defeat the monster for good. Later, the Rangers see everyone cleaning up the school after the alien attack had made a mess. We get a nice call back to the first episode. Mr. Burley refers back to his question to the class: which species will outlast all others? Troy said if humans worked together, they could accomplish anything. Mr. Burley says that seeing the school come together made him truly believe that. Elsewhere, Troy looks out into the horizon and wonders where Robo Knight could be. Despite some awkwardness, this is a fun episode. I really don't like having the Megaforce suits sticking around, especially not with the Rangers getting new morphers. So do they have to carry around two big clunky morphers? Or do they just get the Super Mega Morpher when they're already morphed? I like the ability of being able to access abilities and weapons of past Rangers, but it's not used for anything beyond fan service here. It's cool to see some of these older suits back, but it would have much more impact if there was a reason for those specific powers being used. One touch I like is the old morph calls being used, at least Samurai and Mystic Force are used.
Go, go, Samurai! Magical Source! Mystic Force!
SPD and Ninja Storm, they forgot, I guess. Even though I like this, they still found a way to make it awkward and redundant. Before saying the morph call, they have to announce Legendary Ranger mode, whatever. Why not just use the morph call alone? This seems like such an obvious thing. Another odd thing about the whole morph call situation is how do the Rangers know what to say? Is it instinctual second nature, like Billy described the Mighty Morphin powers at one time? A few scenes are altered from Gokaiger to replace a Sentai-exclusive Ranger when they all morph into Red Rangers. This seems perfectly logical, and Back when this premiered, no one thought anything of it. As the season goes on, though, it becomes retrospectively strange. Later on, Sentai-exclusive Rangers won't be replaced. In a few instances, they're even emphasized. I'll talk about that when I get to it. The last thing for now to talk about with the Rangers is the suit acting. Sentai has extremely expressive suit acting regularly. You can tell from body language a lot about a character. This is an important point since Megaforce is now using two very different Sentai series. Jake in particular has a very different body language than he did in the first season. There's subtle differences with the others, but Jake stands out the most. His stances are now awkward, his fighting style is unorthodox, a far cry from his more fluid movement in the first season. My personal theory is that his new Green Ranger powers are harder to control than his Black Ranger powers. The real-world reason is Gokaiger had no Black Ranger. Goseiger did have a Green Ranger, but they only appear briefly in a flashback and possibly didn't even have a fully designed helmet. The new bad guys are alright for now. Vrock's brother Prince Vakar is interesting. He's serious, but a little jumpy. The Vira is an inventor. The other two don't have much to them yet. Prince Vakar is especially interesting because of his personality. His Gokaiger counterpart was a very over-the-top, goofy villain, while over here he's significantly more stoic. I remember fans thinking this was a change that actually worked. It would be cool to see a different interpretation of the character. From what I remember, though, Prince Vakar doesn't remain this way and falls into a similar role eventually as his counterpart. The new Zords are cool and all, but what happened to the old Zords? They had quite a few built up, and now they're all just gone. Maybe this episode should have started with their old Zords falling in battle. I don't think they ever return in the future. I think the Sky Ship should have been something the bad guys had, and the Rangers steal it, and that's why it looks like a pirate ship. The civilian characters, all two of them, get some nice bits. Ernie is at the Froyo place, and Mr. Burley is at the school. Makes sense. I kinda wish things hadn't wrapped up so cleanly and quickly. The Armada launched a pretty big assault, but it's just immediately taken care of. At the end, Troy solemnly stares into space while wondering where Robo Knight is. Back in the day, I and a lot of other American tokusatsu fans found this scene reminiscent of Ryan Steele from nearly every VR Troopers episode, staring into space thinking about his dad. I don't know if this was intentional, but it's a neat parallel. Something I honestly never realized before was finally made clear to me upon this rewatch. The student's answers to Mr. Burley's question at the beginning of the first season foreshadowed the villain's themes. Insects, robots, and Emma even works in a reference to pollution. I don't get it. I mean, I do get it, but I don't get it. Get it? The two monsters here have some interesting voice actors. The first monster, Headridge, was voiced by Cameron Rhodes, who previously voiced Matumbo in Mystic Force and Professor Cog in Samurai. He'll return as Professor Cog later in this season. On screen, he was also Marty the Mackerel in Dino Thunder. The second monster, Tentacus, was voiced by Ryan Cooper, who'll return to the franchise and Once and Always as the voice of Robo Minotaur. He's a founding member of the New Zealand animation studio Muck Putty, and he's done a lot of voice work, writing, and directing for their projects. So, Super Megaforce is off to a decent, not great, start, but it works. What kind of new challenges will our heroes face? What kind of legendary powers will they access? Will we finally see any returning characters? Whatever happens, I'm hoping the season is a bit more ambitious than the last. So that's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. See ya.
Am I the only one who notices that my key is the wrong color?
There's a simple explanation for that.